All right. Well, good morning, everybody. We are ready to rock and roll. I do want to share with you all, the poor experience I had yesterday. Yesterday, I was a victim of trading with too much size, right? So you guys saw that yesterday. Um, I was red. I was really, really red by 12 o'clock. And it was because sometimes as traders, we get a little too cocky. Maybe we feel like, we know we have a feel of where the market's going and we want to make that home run. So we take extra size, maybe double, maybe triple. But then when you get shaken out or when you get chopped up before the move actually happens, guess what? You end up suffering significant losses. That happened to me yesterday. And then you guys saw I was trading the whole day until about almost 7 p.m. to recover 95% of my losses. Yesterday was a really long day for me. I share that because I don't want that to happen to you guys, right? Learn from my mistakes, learn from Taj's mistakes. That's why we're here. We want to guide, to mentor, to help teach, and to help you guys become better traders. So, like I was telling Taj when we did our Facebook live session, uh, January and February were really good months. I'm just gonna stick with what's been working. Yesterday I went out of my routine and I got bit for it, for doing that. So just however you can apply that to your own trading, just keep that in mind and just stay focused on the process and on managing your risk. All right. So with that being said, let's jump right in. So the overall market, guys, the Nasdaq was just green several minutes ago. Now it's pulling back. Here's a key level on the Nasdaq: 306. Well, specifically on the triple Qs. This is the 100-day moving average on the daily chart. It bounced perfectly right off of it. The market went green, and now look, the Nasdaq and the SPY are both pulling back. So I think today is going to be I think today is going to determine a lot for the market. I think today, if the market sells off and fails, especially the Nasdaq, if it fails that pre-market low, then we've got some more downside. Really, you have nothing holding up the market until the 200-day moving average. A lot of the tech names are already at the 200-day moving average, like Facebook, for instance. Apple, Microsoft, they're coming close to it. They've either already broken the 100 or they're about to. So the tech names, I think the sell-off is not over. I think today could be a bounce day. I could be wrong, but there's an important factor that's coming into play today. The federal chairman, Jerome Powell, is speaking later today. We just had some economic news come out, unemployment claims and some other economic data, which I shared in the Discord. There's a lot going on, right? The 10-year yield right now is at 1.48, and if you guys recall, 1.5 is that key number. We're we're what, 2 basis points away from 1.5. I think if the 10-year yield, if we hit that 1.5, the freaking systems on Wall Street are just gonna press the sell button on the market. So that's just I don't have a crystal ball. That's just me hypothesizing, right? So let's just stay focused, right, on all these other factors that are influencing the market. So I'm watching the Nasdaq. I say all that because I'm I'm going to be watching the Nasdaq very closely again. I like General Electric, GE. Got a nice price target upgrade from Morgan Stanley to $17. It is a swing trade that was just called out by Santi, so I do like that as well. So I think this stock, and it's a cheap stock, the contracts are cheap, so this could be one that we can trade very nicely. And what's nice about General Electric is that it's a recovery, reopening economy name. So this stock it's gonna buck the trend, right, with the tech stocks. It's gonna diverge, right, just like with the Carnival Cruise Lines and like the airlines, etc. So watching GE very closely as well. If it breaks out of that high of like $14 right now on this bull flag, I like it. If it pulls back a little bit, wait for a better entry. We'll call it out, maybe bottoming tail bar or a curling action, and we can go long it. Another name that I'm going to keep a very close eye on is VRM, Vroom. So this is a recent IPO. They reported earnings, wasn't too hot. Closed yesterday at 43.90, gapping down to 36.53. I think this stock has more room to the downside. I'm looking to short this stock today. After hours lows yesterday was $35, so we're $1.50 away from that. I think we're going to hit it and maybe even break it. So if you pull up a daily chart on this, the daily chart pretty much has no support. Yeah, if it fails 35, I mean, it really has no support around the 30 until 33, 32. So this stock is in trouble, in my opinion. I did go over the earnings report, and on the surface it looked good, but the average vehicle that they sold, the average cost per vehicle, the revenue, dropped significantly by as much as $6,000 to $7,000 per vehicle. Investors are not liking that and therefore are dumping the stock. So VRM is one that I'm going to look to short today. Right now, the way it's setting up, you've got to wait for a better setup on this. So I would like a pop, maybe pop back up to 37, curl back around, short it when it breaks that pre-market low. That's what my preferred, setup on it. So that's that one. I'm gonna keep a close eye also on Snow. So Snow reported earnings, and this stock has been pretty punished, from just the market sell-off. I do think that this stock is gonna get hurt today. Look at the initial reaction. So it did sell off to 228. It's gotten bought back up, right? But the after hours high was 262. So it's in a little bit of a range right now, and I know it's an expensive stock. You could play options contracts on this one, but the options contracts are very spready, so I'd be cautious with it. So here's what I would like to see. When the market opens up, let's see how the market opens up, and if it decides to rally, then I'll go long Snow, and we'll have to test that 262 area. But if I start to see some curling action and maybe Snow starts to fail and there's some topping action, I'll look to short it, and I'll call that entry out. Right now, the setup is not like a clean setup, so I just have to wait for the setup to occur, whether it's a bull flag formation or maybe even like lower highs setting in, bear flag, and then go in for the short, right? So that's my idea with Snow. So let me see here. VRM, Snow, GE, the triple Qs. Also going to watch Fubo. Fubo has gotten beaten down, just like with the rest of the market. They reported earnings, I think it was yesterday, the day before. And a couple days ago, I sold it at 43 bucks, and now it's $10 below from when I sold it. Yesterday, they had some pretty interesting news that, what was the news yesterday? I want to quote it correctly here. Let me see. Stock alerts. Fubo. Yeah, so they secured an agreement for Fubo Sportsbook in Indiana and New Jersey through Caesars Entertainment. It's pretty good news. The stock gapped up, and I actually traded Fubo after hours yesterday. It was one of my after hours winners, and it traded to as high as 36.40, but now it's back down to 34 bucks. If the market picks up today, and if the market starts to rally, I'd like to see Fubo recover a little bit. Fubo is a name that I think can have some recovery. On the daily chart, it's beaten down. I mean, it's not oversold just yet, but it needs to hold this crucial area like $33 on the daily. So let's see if today we can get a bounce on Fubo. I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on this. I think this one can be an easy play. So if Fubo breaks out of, let's say, like 34.50, I'll go long it, put stops at 34. Only going to risk 50 cents on the trade, and I think we can see Fubo above 35, maybe even 36 today. So that's my idea for that one. And look at Vroom. Look at that dump that just occurred right now. So Can't short Vroom just yet. I gotta wait for that setup. The move that I've anticipated is already happening. So with that being said, oh, and then one last name, SKT. Look at this. Look at this pump and dump. So apparently Reddit traders are on it. It rallied from freaking 1850 all the way up to 2560, sold back down to below 20. Now it's back above 20, almost 22. There's clearly a lot of volume in this, clearly a lot of participation. I'm going to play this as well. The setup right now, if it breaks above 2236 area, go long. Put your stops at maybe 22 or 2160, and let's enjoy this one. So, Taj, passing it on to you, bro.
Yeah, just to add to that, SKT does have options contracts available, so
Right.
we're going to be able to play with shares or options contract.
Yep.
Symbol is SKT. All right, so a couple names that I'll be watching on. A name that'll definitely be on my A list, especially if the market does rally, is Carnival Cruise Lines (CCL). So as we know, CCL had a pretty solid day yesterday. We traded it a good amount of times yesterday, but it did sell off right before the close and kind of closed near the lows, formed a bit of a topping tail on the daily chart off of the bull flag. However, CCL had a very nice recovery along with the overall market right here from 6 a.m. Bounced all the way up from 28.40 all the way up to 29.40, which is only 20 cents away from the highs of yesterday from the bull flag. So the way I see it, it's forming a bull flag right now. If it starts to break out above this 29.50 level, we could definitely look for a long with stops at 29.30. So I feel more confident taking this trade if we see the market start to rally. The market currently, if we look at the Qs, we look at the SPYs, it's at a very pivotal point. A very key level was 378 from a few days ago. That's the lower portion of this range that we've been in over the past 2 weeks. We talked about it on, not yesterday, but the day before Tuesday, where we're going to break out of this 391.50 level, 392 level. And it did the opposite, right? It sold off, which is clearly resistance. Now, we're at the support level of that same range, that 378 level. And what did we have play out? A huge bounce right off of what? 378. Bounced all the way up to 382. So a very, very strong bounce, a 4-point bounce on the S&P. So as of now, it does look like we are getting a solid bounce for the most part. However, 382 is a pretty, strong resistance that we're seeing. Each time the market hits 382, we are seeing a bit of a sell-off occur. So for me, I would like to see specifically on the SPYs, I would like to see the SPYs playing 382 before I think about going long the S&P. If it does break out above 382, we could definitely look for a long, throw our stops around 381.20. And see if we can catch a nice relief bounce from these lows.
Mm-hmm.
Look at CCL breaking out of the bull flag right now, 29.50. So there would be your entry, and you can just throw your stops here at 29.30, 29.20. Let's see, another name that I'll be keeping an eye on is obviously Apple. If I'm keeping an eye on the market, I have to watch Apple. This is another name that's been beat up as of late. Didn't gap down nearly as aggressively as some of the indices, so it does show a little more strength compared to the overall market. But nonetheless, it's pretty much opening at its closing price, and I just want to watch this name to see what the overall market does. If the overall market starts bouncing, I'll look to play Apple long. We can play it long here. Entries around 122.50, stops at 122. However, if it starts selling off, starts to break that pre-market low of around 121, you can definitely look for a short. We throw our stops. As of now, it would have to be around 122. But let's see what how it plays out once the market opens. I'm in no rush to get in on any of these plays today because there is a chance that there will be some choppiness right out of the gates.
Right.
We know going into the open that Jerome Powell speaks at 12 o'clock. So usually leading up to any type of Fed announcement or Fed news, the market's going to be a little choppy. So just keep that in mind with a lot of these plays, especially with a lot of the mega chip names, the big names. It could be a little choppy today until that news is released. Another name I'll be just keeping an eye on is DraftKings. DraftKings got destroyed yesterday after catching that pre-market rally up to $74. Opened at its highs, closed at its lows. Just had a very nasty day. We are getting a bit of a bounce. It's up to $68, so we are gapping up about nearly 2.5 points. So the way I see it, if DraftKings starts to show some weakness again, especially if the market starts selling off, we can look for shorts around 67.40. Throw our stops around 68.40. So there's about a dollar range on that. However, if the market really starts selling off, keep an eye on DraftKings. The fact that it had that nasty of a day yesterday, clearly a reversal candle if you're looking at the daily chart. You could see DraftKings pull right back down to the daily 8 of May, which is currently around $63. So plenty of room to the downside on DraftKings. Another name I want to watch is Neo. Neo's another name that had a very ugly day yesterday. Pretty much just trended down all day yesterday after catching this little relief bounce down here from that 42.50 level, and then just sold off from the 5-minute 200. So today, this morning, we had Neo gap down again, gapped all the way down to 39.22. So over 2 points, and now we're currently a dollar higher from the lows right here at 40.11. But Neo still looks weak. Neo looks very weak. There's no support until 38.11, so we have plenty of room to the downside. And this is it's not extended to the downside. The RSI is at 32.55 from yesterday's close. So the way I see it, Neo starts to break below 39.80. We can definitely look for shorts with stops around 40.20, 40.30. However, if it does start to rally, if the market starts looking very strong, maybe Neo gets a bounce. We'd possibly take an entry around 40.65 and throw our stops around $40. So that's another potential play there. Another name is PLTR. PLTR had just some crazy movement here in the after hours trading, getting some good volume spikes happen. Especially as of late, 500,000 shares, 300,000 shares, 200,000 shares, just being actively traded. I am not going to touch PLTR, but I thought I'd just bring it up to you guys just in case. PLTR has been just, I was looking through, some of my best and worst performers. PLTR has by far been my worst performer that I've been trading. So I'm personally not going to trade it, but I thought I'd bring up the play, just in case anyone else wanted to play it. So PLTR did catch a nice bounce. It's gapping up about $1.50, $1.30 from this price point. And it has some real resistance here at 25.24. But if it breaks that resistance, you could see a PLTR catch a very, very nice rally. That would be above yesterday's high. And then you would be trading right back above the daily 8 of May. So from there, there's really no resistance until around $26, $27. So you have plenty of room to the upside. You can look for a long here around 25.24. 30 stops around 24.70. So you have about a 50 cent risk on this play. And then the very last play that I'll be stock that I'll be keeping an eye on is Virgin Galactic Space. This is another name that we talked about yesterday. If it was going to break that low from Tuesday, Space could be in for some trouble. And that's exactly what we had play out. It broke the lows, closed at the low day yesterday, and continued to gap down all the way down to $30.20. So it gapped down an additional 2 points. We have rallied about $1. However, similarly to Neo, it still looks weak compared to some of the other names that are bouncing in the market. So the market continues to look weak. You can potentially look for a short here around 30.70. 30 stops around 31.20, and see if you can test that pre-market low. Again, Space and Neo specifically, if the market starts looking weak, keep an eye on these names because these names have a lot of room to the downside there. They've been some of the uglier performers, and I think it will continue to the downside. However, if the market bounces, keep an eye on your Carnival Cruise Lines, right? Stocks like these. Boeing is another one that looks pretty solid. Well, it was looking pretty solid. But Carnival Cruise Lines, you know, stock that's trending up nicely. It's at the upper portion of its Bollinger Band, right off of a bull flag breakout, and you can see that momentum continue if the market participates in a rally. But other than that, man, that's pretty much my list of the day. You know, I'm going to be watching a lot of the big names: Carnival Cruise Lines, Apple, DraftKings, Neo. I like the Fubo player as well, and then SKT. Definitely going to keep an eye on that. Anytime you hear the Reddit community participating in a name, you know, it's like trading penny stocks, but on bigger cap names. So it does play out pretty fun. So I'll be keeping an eye out on SKT as well.
Exactly. So, yeah. All right, we got a lot of good opportunities today. So trade safely, guys. For everyone on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.